Welcome to Take Hold Studios. My name is Grant. This is my beautiful wife, Erica, the weaker vessel.
Hello, everyone.
So we are going to be talking about brewing mead, and this is in connection with hosting Big Sabbath feasts.
Yeah, this is a great way to make a lot of booze for not a lot of money. So we've actually had people reach out and ask, on more than one occasion, actually, asking for our recipe and like the way to do homemade mead making.
Yeah.
So we thought, let's just make a video. It'll be easier to show you than type it all out. And so here we are.
Yeah, we're on several gallons of mead we've made now, and it's all been really, really delicious.
Yeah.
And our friends are loving it too, and so we thought we'd do a video of making a couple of different versions of mead.
So there's two kinds of mead that we have made. This is by no way the only way to make mead. In fact, the more research I do into making mead, the more I find that we're probably doing it wrong. But hey, it works for us. The thing is, in the mead community, people feel very strongly about technique.
Well, I guess.
And there's a lot of different techniques. This is our technique.
Any like niche subculture of people get legalistic
it's like
and people
the
get serious.
World, you know, there's like 1,000 different ways, and everyone feels very strongly about it.
You'd have to tell me what that's like.
So today we're going to show you how to make just a basic regular old mead, which is delicious, and we have served. I think ours tends to be around 13% alcohol?
Yeah. I think so.
And then we'll show you how to do that, and then we are going to make a lemon balm and strawberry mead today.
You can get creative, guys.
You can make whatever flavor you want, because as you guys will learn, like you just make your basic mead and then you adjunct to it.
The first batch that we made a cranberry mead, and it was delicious.
Really good. That was
it was so good, and we were just trying stuff out.
Yeah. So what are you going to need to make mead?
Okay, to make a gallon of mead, get yourself a gallon container. As such, these are called carboys.
Mm-hmm.
They look like this. You can get them at wine brewing or beer brewing shops. You can get them online. They're pretty easy to come by. But you're going to want one of these, and you're going to want something to stir the mead with. Here's one option. Mm-hmm. It fits in the
a regular old wooden spoon or something would work.
Yeah, that would probably work too. You're also going to need a plug.
An airlock.
Which is the white thing here, and then an airlock at the top here. So when the mead is fermenting, the gases that are released go through here, push the water, it burps, and
you don't have an explosion.
And that's exactly. And when it stops is when you know the fermentation process has finished, and then you bottle. But we're just going to talk about the first step of starting here.
You may need this as well, depending on the type of mead.
Yeah, there's one practice where you catch wild yeast and allow your mead to ferment with wild yeast, eating the sugars, or you buy
brewer's yeast.
Which there are many different kinds. Some bring your brew to a certain alcohol percentage or whatever. If you want to do that much research, you can. Here's what we're using on this one.
There is naturally yeast that occurs in raw honey. Raw honey. If you just go to the grocery store and you just buy, cheapo honey, that's fine. You can totally make mead out of that honey, but you will have to buy brewer's yeast to make mead out of that kind of honey. If you have raw honey, you can make mead out of just that raw honey. It might take a little bit longer. From our perspective, if you live in a cold climate or your home is kept cold, you'll get the wild yeast in the honey, but it's not going to be easy to
ferment.
Yeah. Like think bread making. When you make bread, if your house is very cold, your bread doesn't rise. The yeast isn't super active. The same is true in mead making. So if your house is cold, it's wintertime, whatever, it's going to be harder to make mead out of the wild yeast as opposed to the brewer's yeast.
Yeah.
So do as you will.
Okay. Everything needs to be sanitized. Another thing, you can get the type of sanitization mix or concentrate that you put in a sink with hot water, and you can sanitize everything.
I've got a picture of that we can add.
Awesome. I'm going to throw links to as much of this stuff as I can in the description too. So if you guys are wondering how much this would cost to get started, which really isn't a ton, especially if you look at the price of a bottle of mead in your local beverage store.
Right.
This is super affordable, and you get to drink like a Viking.
Well, and the cool thing is you get to control what you're putting in your mead. So we use raw organic honey. We're using quality water, not just city water. Right. You can use organic fruits. That's what we do. So knowing that we have organic mead to serve at our Sabbath dinners is pretty awesome. If we were to buy that in store, I don't even know about organic mead. I know it would be a whole lot, but just basic, regular old.
If we bought
cheapy mead, is like $25 a bottle.
$20 to $25.
Where we're at in Maine. So.
Do you imagine buying like 3 bottles for a Sabbath feast?
I cannot.
And we're spending almost $100 just on mead. But doing it this way, it's not even close. All right, so first thing you can do, if you're making a gallon of mead, you want 3 pounds of honey.
This is going to give you a semi-sweet to dry taste. If you want a sweeter mead, then you want to add more honey, more sugar, obviously. But that is probably going to also elevate your alcohol content. So be conscientious of that when you serve it. You can add less. I think 2 pounds is probably the least that you'd want to add to about a gallon. But that's going to be drier.
Yeah, it might be bitter. It might be a little more harsher and just not as enjoyable to drink.
So we would suggest if this is your first mead, go ahead, use 3 pounds to 1 gallon of water.
Exactly. Okay, so you pour the 3 pounds of honey into the carboy. Then we add our water, right?
So if you have well water, feel free to go ahead and use that water. If you use city water, I would suggest filtered water.
What if you had city water? Could you boil it and then let it cool down, and that would at least kill?
I don't know. I feel like just be safe and.
Well, but use the best water you can, because that will make a big difference.
Yes.
With your end result.
Yeah, you definitely want to make sure that you're putting quality water. I mean, it's what makes your mead. So you don't want the chemicals from the city water. You don't want it, especially if you're doing like a wild yeast. I would be very careful to use like a distilled water or spring water or something, because you don't want anything killing.
We all know there's some extra stuff in there.
Yeah. So go ahead and add your. I feel like we're gonna have to put like a little disclaimer. This is not sponsored by Poland.
I'll put some little image over that. Yeah, we're not trying to advertise here.
Okay.
All right, so then pour in basically a gallon of water. But if you have this gallon container, it's not going to be a full gallon, but you're going to fill it up and leave some head space in the container.
Right. So here's the thing. Just like with bread, things are going to expand and move and get bubbly. So you don't want to fill your container all the way up possible, because you want some space for movement. So especially if you're going to add fruit, or nuts or grains or whatever to your mead,
it's going to be active.
You want to make sure that you have enough space to add your fruit and then still have space on top for expansion. So just kind of think through that. So don't just go ahead and dump all your water in there, or you're not going to have space for fruit and expansion.
Yeah, and you may experience the temptation of getting as much as you can, but you're going to end up having a really big mess once the fermentation process really gets going. So don't do that. Anyway, add your water.
So if you're going to go ahead and you're going to make just regular mead, you would be done right around here. You'd have your honey and your water, and then you would just add your yeast to this, and then you'd have just a regular honey mead. You put your airlock on, clean up the sides, and be done until
and watch it happen.
Right.
But you need to, and we'll show you that you have to mix this up really, 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 really well.
Okay, so since we are making a lemon balm
strawberry,
what we're going to do is we're going to have Grant mix that really well.
You're going to do that right now and then add that?
Yeah, I will go ahead and mix that first.
Okay.
So earlier today, I brewed a little bit of lemon balm tea, and I threw in two lemon zests. or the zest from 2 lemons, I guess is how you would say
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
And I just let it steep all day long. So this right here is water, lemon balm tea, and 2 lemons. And it smells like heaven.
Let me smell. Ooh, wow.
So we're going to add some of this lemon balm tea and all of the lemon zest into this mead. I think it'll be about half and half. And then we're going to go ahead and add strawberries as well.
Yep. How much tea did you make?
This is about 4 cups. All right, you good?
So you just watch this as you stir it, and
it comes together pretty easily.
Yeah, but you gotta attack it a little bit, you know?
We'll do another stir after we add our fruit as well.
Okay.
So I've never done this one before, you guys. This is totally an experiment. This is a new flavor for us.
You're joining us on our journey here.
This is the cool thing about mead, is that you can really make a variety of different kinds of flavors. So I'm going to make sure I have enough space for my strawberries. I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to add the strawberries.
Cup of strawberries.
We're just going to do a cup of strawberries. We have a tendency of getting a little crazy on our additives.
We go hard when it comes to the additives.
We have had an explosion before.
Two overflowing
right
situations.
So we know that there is sugar in like fruit and stuff, so that will also add to the alcohol.
That's more for the yeast to eat up.
Mm-hmm. So be conscious of that when you're adding fruits. Like if you want a higher alcohol or a lower alcohol, think about the sugars that you're adding. Obviously, the honey itself is sugar, but if you're adding in fruits, there will also be more sugar for that yeast to munch on and be super happy with.
Yep.
So you want to add enough fruit to give you flavor, but you don't want to add enough,
I think you eyeballed it perfectly, babe.
Stuff to, I think we need a little bit more. I also want to add...
Put some more of this in there.
Yeah, I also want to add that lemon peel.
Oh.
So in my research I have done...
You're good. Yeah.
Folks have told me that...
Okay, you want to stop there and...
Right there?
And then get that out somehow?
Yeah. So folks have told me that when you're adding citrus of any kind, you want to only add the peel and not too much, because citrus tends to give a very bitter flavor. So that's why I did the tea, and I'm only adding a little bit of that lemon peel. So here's the peel. I'm just going to add a few peels.
I'm just going to put a few.
I'm not going to add all of the peels both of the lemon peels in here.
Okay.
I'm only going to add a little bit because I don't want a very bitter flavor. I want to have enough lemon flavor, but not enough to make it bitter. I think that might be enough. So I think that maybe was like 1 lemon peel that I put in there.
All right. So the zest of 1 lemon added to the final...
Because the oils and stuff from the lemon already steeped in that tea all day long.
Gotcha.
So a lot of that citrus flavor is already in the water that we added, the tea that we added. Does that make sense?
What next?
You want to give her another stir?
Yeah.
And then we have to add our yeast.
Yep.
Because we are in Maine and it is February, and we do not believe that there is enough wild yeast to combat the coldness that is Maine in wintertime. So we're going to go ahead and add our brewer's yeast, and that is going to ensure that we have some fermentation. This was not all for naught.
If you do some research, people they might mix this in water first. I think those methods are fine. We just haven't done it that way, and it's worked out well for us.
We kind of feel like...
So we just mix it in, right?
Yep. I kind of feel like just do it and see what happens, and you will find your way of doing stuff. Like I said, if you go online, people feel very strongly about every single step that you take. I don't know, just do it your way, right? Why add extra steps if you don't need to? Make it simple. This is mead made simple. The Take Hold Studios way.
There you go. Take hold of your mead making process.
That's right. That's right. So this is really it, guys. You've added water, brewer's yeast. I made mine fancy by making like a little, lemon balm tea that we added.
Yep.
But you can do whatever you want. Strawberries. We've done blueberries. We've done pistachio and coconut mead, which we're going to bottle tonight. And maybe we'll film that process later on if you guys want more of the behind the scenes bottling thing. This is really it. There are endless possibilities, and have fun with it, enjoy it, drink it with your friends, and let us know how your mead making went. You need a jug, you need an airlock, and you need
plug.
Yeah, ingredients.
They're sold separately.
Oh, okay. So the airlock and the plug.
Sometimes they come together,
So
but
then you would just do this.
And then you're done.
And that's it. And you're done.
Sanitize all of that. Put a little bit of water in here, as you can see. Put your cap on, and then let her go. Let her ferment.
I would suggest cleaning the outside.
Cleaning the outside. You'll wait. Like I said, once it starts fermenting, those gases release, and it pushes through here, and the water is pushed up, and then it burps. You'll see it pop, and you'll even hear it if your house is quiet. And for a while, it'll be very active. It'll be popping every few seconds. Once that slows down to a stop, essentially, that's time to bottle.
And you know your fermentation is finished, and you are good to go.
And then you could drink it right away, or let it mellow in a bottle. Keep the bottle away from direct sunlight, and enjoy.
Happy brewing.
This has been Take Hold Studio.